There's a lot of amazing survival games to play, but they have a big problem. Most of them are too easy, so I've searched to find the most difficult survival games ever created. I've made a tier list going from easiest to hardest to discover what survival games are impossible. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. Here we are, back again with the tier list. I'm making this a whole series. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes, I would highly recommend watching that first. If you're all caught up, here's the tier list. We have Can't Even Die, very easy, difficult, this is getting hard now, very hard, and impossible. I read all your comments in the last video, and I set up a poll to see what 6 games you guys really wanted to see, and this is what won. Number 1, Vintage Story. Number 2, Rust. 7 Days to Die, Grounded, Scum, Tarkov. Now this is all going to be my opinion, so don't kill me in the comments. But anyways, enough yapping, let's get into the ranking. Up first, the most requested game, it is Vintage Story. Vintage Story is an unforgiving survival sandbox. The world is yours to explore, but you are powerless. Conquering this world takes a lot of time and a whole lot of dying before you can actually get anywhere in the game. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. It looks like Minecraft with better shaders put on. But don't let that change your mind. This game is very unique, and if you want to compare it to Minecraft, it would basically be if Minecraft was somewhat realistic. Now this game is not easy or kind to you in any way. When I first played this game, I just loaded up and I got right into it, and well, it was a struggle. Vintage Story does a great job at making you feel, well, useless when starting off. And when you do die, if you respawn, you will have half your hunger taken away. This makes that actually scary and fixes the problems other survival games have, where you just die so you can respawn with full health and food and get your loot back. Different foods have different nutrients, where if you have a balanced diet, you will have more health. Another thing to mention, when you attack something in this game, they're going to get their lick back and try and murder you. There's a lot of depth in this game, and I'm glad you guys recommended it to me. I've never even heard of this game before. Vintage Story also has a little bit of a scare factor to it with these storms, making you actually trip out. Trying to manage food in this game is very difficult. You have to worry about different seasons stopping your crops growing. Alongside that, the brutal wildlife in this game. When it comes to the difficulty scale for Vintage Story, there isn't many that comes close to it when it comes to the unique difficulty this game has to offer, and I think it goes into the top of very hard. Up next, Rust. The only aim in Rust is to survive. Everything wants you dead. Wildlife, players, and the environment, especially the players. While DayZ has some toxic players, multiply that by 2 when it comes to Rust. People play this game like it's a 9 to 5. It's hard to have any sort of base because 14-year-olds skip school and stay up all night just to raid your base, or live underneath it like it's Parasite. So your base half the time just gets raided while you're trying to have a good night rest. Rust is similar to DayZ in the way that the server depends on the difficulty. Rust is compared to DayZ a lot, but Rust is very unique in its own ways. They don't have zombies like a lot of these games have. Rust is post-apocalyptic, which makes sense for the use of worse guns and flimsy bows. When it comes to starting off in Rust, I can guarantee your experience will be like this. Get a rock, hit a tree, try get some crafting together. By the way, the crafting is very simple in this game, and then get killed and teabagged by a player while they're laughing, and start again. When we are talking difficulty, I think it goes into the impossible tier. Same reason for DayZ. Players. If you give players full freedom to do whatever they want, they will kill everything, which lands this game up right beside DayZ. While the actual survival aspect isn't as rough as DayZ, I don't know if it's just me, but the players make this game hell. Now let's talk about 7 Days to Die. The first 2 games today didn't have zombies, but now we're back in on the zombies team. This game is a unique combination of survival and a bit of horror. This game focuses heavily on building bases and zombies. The zombies in this game are the most advanced out of all the games we've looked at so far, without question. When it comes to difficulty, this game is easy in my opinion. It's hard to master, but starting off is not bad at all. I think what makes starting off in a survival game so difficult is actually learning how to do anything. I think DayZ does this very well. You don't know how to craft or do anything until you start messing around with a couple sticks. But in 7 Days to Die, it's user friendly and you have a whole crafting menu that crafts things for you. This game focuses a lot on just fun, not crazy food, thirst, and sickness all out to get you. The main challenge will be the zombies and some wildlife. 7 Days to Die is a fun game, but wouldn't be one of my favorites, especially not on console with performance issues, so I'm going to put it a bit lower on the difficulty scale. But like I said before, I'm taking all these games on the base difficulty, but when you look at Nightmare on this game, always sprint is actually impossible, so you can edit all the settings and set yourself up for failure if you want to. I'm going to put 7 Days to Die above difficult here. If you're enjoying the video, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. It helps me a lot more than you know. Over 90% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, but I just want to say thank you for watching the last 2 episodes. For the next episode, let me know in the comments what games you want to see. Right, let's get back into the video. Up next you have Grounded. Grounded is the most unique game today. You've been shrunk down to an ant and have to survive in the back garden. Very similar to the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Classic movie, by the way. This game increases in difficulty each passing day. Starting off in Grounded isn't too daunting. The spiders are pretty scary, but you'll be okay. Crafting is easy and a whole menu to follow by. In Grounded, you're getting resources from grass, dirt, and killing other creatures. Everything in the back garden helps you somehow. Grounded does a great job at guiding you into what to do, but don't let it distract you about how time-consuming base building is, and combat can be pretty difficult sometimes. But it isn't too harsh, and when we look at difficulty, it's gonna go low down in my opinion. opinion. But like I've mentioned, if you play on the hardest difficulty and have New Game Plus, it can become very challenging. The base difficulty, I'm going to put it into the difficult tier. Now up next we have Scum. Scum is a multiplayer open world survival game, like many of these other games. It specializes in character customization and in-depth survival features. Starting off in Scum, you have a lot to digest. Crafting, building, all the normal stuff. But then you have this tab for metabolism, which is very in-depth and you can search pretty much anything in this game. And when it comes to threat, it has a lot. There is not only zombies there's also mechs. Besides that, this game has the survival features like Daisy, like sickness, always out to get you, and starting off, it is a struggle to fight zombies. They feel very tanky, and don't even bother with the robots because you will just die. The main problem with Scum is not many people know about it or is playing it, unfortunately. I do think this game is underrated and has a lot of potential. It's still in early access, apparently we're fully releasing this year, so we might see a big influx of players. But when we're speaking difficulty, starting off is rough and can be very rewarding later on in the game. I think this game is worth checking out and is very difficult to learn, so I'm going to put it in very hard. Last but not least, Escape from Tarkov. A lot of you guys wanted to see this. Tarkov is set in, who guessed, Russia. It's an extraction shooter. This game focuses heavily on fighting and while looting fast. From attachments for weapons and different bullets, you're probably going to look at the wiki a whole lot. When you go out in the world to actually progress, you will have to complete missions and trade to progress in the game. Tarkov is unique to all the different survival games we've looked at. You just have to focus on one thing: killing people. You will die a lot in this game, and many people rage quit because of the realistic shooting, recoil, and blur when actually fighting. This isn't COD here, guys. There's many different maps to play from which are harder than others. This game is deep. You can trade all different items to help you out, and when you're level 15, you can sell and buy everything on community-based servers. We love inflation. This game has a massive learning curve, but you just need to play over and over and over again, like a lot of these other games. When we're looking at the difficulty tier list, this game is no easy task, so it's definitely going to go high up. I think I'm going to put it up into the very hard tier. Now guys, that finishes off the tier list for the third episode. What's been added to the tier list? We have difficult. Grounded has been added in there. This is getting hard now. We have 7 days to die. And then when we're looking at the very hard tier, we have a lot going on in here. We have got Vintage Story, Tarkov, and Scum. And then in the impossible tier, we have added Rust into it. Thank you all for watching to the end. Do you disagree with me at all for all these rankings? If you do, let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.